Okay, here we are. We're going to talk about the abstinence experience. Kind of sounds funny. I'll leave that there. I'm the teacher. I'm back. Okay, here we go. So the purpose of the abstinence experience is fairly straightforward. Pick something that you like to do, like to eat, like to drink, etc. One of the substances that are so important to you that you can't go without, or a behavior, and get rid of it for 6 weeks. Do not engage, eat, drink, whatever it is that you do with that substance or behavior. Don't do it for 6 weeks. We're asking you to do this in the attempt for you to be able to see on a very small level what it is like for someone who may be experiencing a substance use disorder or a behavioral disorder, addictive behavioral disorder, such as gambling, watching porn, gaming, a sex addict, etc. Those are behaviors. It just doesn't, it's not only the substance uses or the drugs or the alcohol. What does it feel like to do this? Most of the time we don't even, like, for some of us, we may know, like, y'all, I know I need to get a little bit rid of the chocolate, but Kit Kat specifically, but it's not killing me, but maybe I should. I could choose that as something to give up. So let me give you the examples. The examples of a substance, for example, are caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, Red Bull, and sugar. I've actually run into a couple of people who gave up the caffeine and had to remind them that that little chocolate candy that they picked up in the mouth, put in their mouth, is the chocolate has caffeine in it. So I'm not their favorite person right now, but we'll be okay later, okay? The Red Bull, all kinds of sugar behaviors, such as gaming. How many of y'all get in trouble at home from wanting to do that too much? Too much time on social media on your phone, right? Playing your games if you want to. Going to eat candy or something after 8, those kinds of behaviors. Beer, drinking beer. There was an excellent example of a student who was, it's someone who didn't drink beer all week long, but it was something that was very present in all of the familial types of interactions and activities that they did, whether it was celebrating a birthday, etc. So what was that going to be like? And even something as like, I'm going to choose sweet tea to drink the whole time. I don't care what it is. Maybe it's a caffeine, maybe not, but it's just tea. Okay, so there's 3 components to this particular assignment, and you're going to do them one at the beginning, one throughout, and one at the end. Okay, so you've submitted your topic. That's not one of them. The first one is a letter. You have to write a letter to your chosen substance or behavior that you're going to abstain from for the 6 weeks period, and tell them, I have listed the different questions. Let me pull them up so I can look at them for you, where you specifically have to write a letter stating how my addictive substance behavior is loved and is considered a friend, how my addictive substance behavior, it appeals to my senses, how does my addictive substance or behavior provide healing or is a balm to my emotional wounds, how my addictive substance behaviors control and promote my feelings of helplessness and entrapment, and how might my addictive substances behavior, how is it hated in what it costs me? All right, so that's the first one. I thought I'd give you an example of one of the letters that I received from a student way back that I think is just absolutely excellent, just to kind of see, like, yes, you need to write a letter. For example, dear sweet tea, you've always been by my side when I needed you. I considered you a close and personal friend, as you've helped me feel better when I have a bad day. Whether it is a warm or cool day, you've shown me that you will continue to be there to make me feel good. I believe in the warm feeling you give me when I'm sick or just wanting a nice herbal drink. The wonderful aroma that you bring into the room soothes my stress and my pain. I am in awe with the sweet taste you provide and am happy when I see you being brewed before my eyes. You are my favorite beverage, an automatic choice when I can't decide what to drink, because I know that I will never be unsatisfied when it comes to you. I am enchanted with how you make me feel. You make me feel content when I'm feeling upset or anxious, Enjoying the day with you by my side, curled up in the couch, in a blanket, watching Netflix or eating popcorn is what makes me feel relaxed and genuinely blissful. Although you bring me much joy, I'm concerned with how often you bring so much sugar and caffeine into my body. Sometimes I find myself unable to fall asleep when I continue to drink you into the late hours of the night. I do feel myself consumed by your sweet, hot, cold taste that I forget what time it is and want to continue indulging in the pleasure you provide. I've already suffered from insomnia before and do not want to endure the type of extreme stress and frustration over again. With regards to the caffeine intake you bring, I'm bothered how you increasingly affect my anxiety and my inability to sleep. I'm also worried about the financial costs you pile onto my plate. Although you give me such gratification with your sweet taste, I have to pay more money when I purchase you at restaurants and stores, as well as buy the sugar I mix into you when I brew you at home. Sometimes it can get overwhelming for me to afford you both physically and in a healthy manner. I'm concerned with whether the love you give me will continue to benefit me or if it will negatively affect me in the long run. Anxiety risks, financial cost, increased sugar intake, and sleep disturbances are really not in your favor when I really think about it. Slowing down on our time together may be just what I need for a while. Please understand that I'll need some time away from you right now. With love and hopefully no regrets, this particular student. I think it was fantastic as she covered all the 5 questions or content that was to be explained. Then moving on to the abstinence log. This abstinence log should start immediately after you hit the clock for your first day of the 6 weeks and then at the end. Some students will do a daily log and it seems to give them a much more valuable experience. But for this particular assignment, the 6 weeks, I'm only asking that you go ahead and do 3 entries per week. So if it's 6 weeks, 3 entries, you should have a total of 18 entries. What's really good is when it happens, if you can begin to write something down. I had some students ask me, okay, well, I'm gonna give up social media. But then came back later, this is really hard. Can I only do it on the weekends? And I said, all right, so when our clients come to see us, there's like, no problem, honey. As long as you're not shooting up during the week, the weekend is fine. It doesn't work that way. Abstinence is abstinence. Push your way through so that you can feel what this is like. You can describe what are the times you can identify in your log some of these things. What are the times that you reached for or did the behavior without even thinking, because it's absolutely so natural. When were there times that you were making excuses? It's my birthday today. I should be able to do this. I just passed an exam. We just bought a house. I deserve this, kind of a thing. And then what are those times that you engage? And then how do you feel about yourself afterwards? I think that those experiences will give you a look into what it might feel like for someone who would be given up an addiction. Now, remember, substance use disorders and other behaviors that can be considered addictive in nature. Remember, to be considered a disorder or in our APA manuals, it has to significantly affect someone's life, their ability to work or interact with others, and that's really the case. With those levels of disorders. For us to practice this experience, that's not usually the case. So please keep in mind as you look at this, as you experience this yourself, to think a little bit about what that might mean. For some people, they don't realize that giving up alcohol or even some of the substances can be life threatening. They could die from it. So you'll have the letter and now your log. All right, you just write it up as a log. You put the date, you write it in, etc. This is, you can put your title page to it, make it double spaced so it's easier for me to read as well as to provide comments. And the reference page, if there's anything that you've looked at or thought about in the text that you want to tie into it, make sure that you use the reference page. If not, this is purely your experience. Okay, so you wouldn't necessarily need a reference page if you didn't use it. Okay, and then the third component is the summary. It's always important, as I've told you all in the other exercises, is for you to be able to apply this to life. So then what does this experience mean to you, right? So we've asked you to, where's my paper? We've asked you to do a 2 to 3 page reflection in, now what does this mean to you? What was the experience like? What was the overall summary of what happened to you throughout the 6-week process? Talk about that a little bit. But of course, then it's important to turn it into a profession and engage in a professional analysis of how this particular activity or experience may have impacted maybe what you didn't know before that you know now. Maybe, what do you feel now that maybe you didn't experience before? It's that, and then of course, how will that impact your work as a future counselor? What is something that you want to know more about? What is something that you think that you need more practice with? All of those things will be helpful as you begin to explore them and what they mean to you as you become a professional counselor, regardless of the context. Okay? So if you have any questions, remember to holler, and I'm happy to answer questions you have, anything like that. All right? See you later.